Hello, and welcome to Newbie Newtonian. This is the second video training installment for my program to help you build your own online business. In the first video, we talked about brainstorming ideas for your online business, and you hopefully came up with 10 or 15 different ideas and some buying phrases perhaps to go with those. Now we're going to learn about keyword research. The most popular keyword research tool is Google, so you can just go to Google and type in keyword AdWords tool and click on that to bring up the tool. Then in this word or phrase box, you type in the phrase that you want to search for. So we're going to use how to get my dog to stop barking. This is one of the phrases we came up with in the first video. Normally there would be a box here to type in some words to prove you're human, but I have been in here enough today, it's not asking me for that. So then you just hit search. And it searches for that phrase that you typed in. It pulls it up right here. The competition for this phrase is very high, so that means there is a lot of websites out there trying to rank for that particular term. The monthly searches is 2,900, not bad. Local searches, now what that means is local to the United States. And again, over 1,000 searches, so that's not too bad. However, that high competition is going to knock this out of the realm of possibility for the first website. It's not that you can't do it, but until you have experience on how to rank and all the different things that go into making a website, you probably are not going to want to start with one that has a lot of competition. It's better to start with one that has low competition. However, just because that particular phrase has high competition doesn't mean that everything that has to do with dogs barking does. So what you can do here under competition is you click on competition once. That'll bring up all the high competition words and phrases. Click on it again, you're going to get the low competitive. So what you can do then after doing that is look at what some of these low competitive with lots of hits are. So whining dogs, dogs crying, why did your dog bark, how to speak to dogs, kind of page down, getting a puppy, how to find dogs, that kind of thing. Now, when you use the keyword tool, it brings up 100 options. You can see this is the first 50, so you can go to the second page and see what's there. And again, dogs whining and crying and so forth. So as you go through this exercise with your phrases, what you're going to want to do is write down 5 or 10 of the phrases that have low competition and have several thousand monthly searches locally, because that will suggest to you either subjects to use on your website or articles that you can write. Now, after looking through this, it doesn't really look like trying to rank for how to get my dog to stop barking. It's going to be a good idea. However, you could rank for whining dogs, how to get my dog to stop whining, things like that. At this point, you just want to write down ideas. You really don't need to narrow it down to be that specific just yet. So let's do another phrase, because you're going to want to do this for all of your ideas. So how to train for a marathon was one of the other phrases. Now you can see here's the words to type in to prove that you are in fact a person. So you type them in and then you hit search. Now, as you can see, how to train for a marathon has low competition, so that's looking good so far. It's also got 33,000 local monthly searches. So again, that's looking better than the how to get my dog to stop barking already, because of the competition and the number of people searching. It's already sorted for low competition, so just take a look through and take a look at some of the ones that have the higher number of searches and make note of those, or if there's any that are particularly interesting to you. So, for example, down here, Boston Marathon qualifying. Maybe you're someone who's run the Boston Marathon and you can talk about what you've done to do that. And you can create a whole series of articles around qualifying for the Boston Marathon. So that's a phrase that you could use that you're knowledgeable about. Or perhaps you happen to live, for example, here's a Rochester Marathon, Bayshore Marathon, if you live in one of those areas, perhaps you want to do a series of articles around those specific marathons. Again, look through both pages of terms and be sure to write down the ones that you find interesting. Marathon pace is another one that is a good one. I'm a runner, so I know that that's a challenge for people to find the right marathon pace to finish in the amount of time that they want to finish in. So just page through and write down those things that are interesting and the number of hits. Then once you have a list of 5 or 10 for that particular subject, just move on to the next word or phrase from your list of 10 or 15 topics from the first video. Once you have done all of that and you have all of that information available, you're ready to move on to the next step, which is going to be analyzing your audience. And that's important to help you narrow down the scope of your website. You don't want to have a website that is so general that you're trying to sell to everybody, because you'll just get lost in the sea of millions of websites out there trying to sell to people. So it's important to understand who your audience is. I hope you found this training helpful. Please stop by Newbie Newtonian, and you can find me on Facebook. If you have questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Again, Facebook is Newbie Newtonian. Thank you for stopping.